So, oh well, that was interesting. Um, we'll see if the streams go back on. I am Nephente, and this is Nephente Talks. And this is the first time I'm using a new, and may I say, quite fucking expensive streaming software to make sure everything runs smoother. And the fucker crashed. Lovely. Hopefully it's back online, and hopefully it works as intended. I see that Total Darkness Productions is in the chat. And the chat that I'm monitoring, and I'll come to that, is the YouTube chat. And that's the one you can see on the screen. If everything works, even slightly my way, that is how it's supposed to work. In any case, this is the 3rd of August. The time is 8 o'clock p.m. in Stockholm. And I am broadcasting through the internets once again in order to, pass time for me, hopefully for you guys also. And like I said, I've actually, I've said it many times. It's been like an eternal Tuesday, but I had like an eternal Tuesday on vacation for a few weeks, which has not really changed anything, except the fact that I'm sitting in front of the computer doing slightly other stuff than I did when compared to what I do when I'm working. But other than that, things in Stockholm are, I would say, they're fairly decent. We never had a huge lockdown, but we had social distancing and laws regulating how many people can visit one place at the same time. And those have been in place since March, and they are still there. Not sure when the cap of gatherings will be lifted from, what is obviously a fairly low cap, which is 50 people. And 50 people means that it's awful if you're a musician. Because, you can do really underground gigs. But for most bands, I mean, you require more than 50 people in the audience. And especially if you count also bar personnel, sound tech, light tech, all these things that are needed in order to make a show, of any size happen. It tends to be way more than when 50 people involved. And the culture sector in Sweden is getting more and more fed up with these rules, and I guess it goes for the rest of the world as well. Now it's to the level where people are screaming that our cultural minister should, resign. I have no idea if she should, but what is starting to become obvious is that there are slightly different rules for culture versus, for instance, normal restaurants. So a restaurant can have more than 50 people if they're big enough and people are spaced out enough. Not spaced out in that sense, but with distance in between them. But as soon as you put an artist somewhere on a stage anywhere near that establishment, 50 people rule applies. So it's starting to be a bit ridiculous. On the other hand, safety first, and I mean, we all prefer to survive as compared to playing live. I mean, but it's starting to really get to people. Not so much me and my fellow peers. I think most of us are. I mean, we're not dying from not playing, other than emotionally it's fucking awful. But that's not the source of income or anything like that. But for some people in the industry, it's starting to really become desperate. So I have friends who suffer way more, who live professionally from playing music or being in other ways involved in the music scene and making gigs happen and so forth. We'll see. Here in the UK, we received reports about Sweden that the approach towards COVID was an experiment that turned wrong by not having it in place. Is that true? And you can reach this chat if you go to youtube.com/Nephente talks. So if you want to chat and reach me, that's the address, because I will come to that quite soon. But the Facebook chats, there are several, and there is no way to connect them, so there's really not a good way for me to be able to monitor those. So if you want to reach me, you need to type in the YouTube chat, or you can tweet me at Abysmal Allure, or you can email me at nephente@netherbird.com, whichever suits you best. I will try to multimedia the shit. I think the Swedish approach to COVID, I am by no means an expert here, but the Swedish pest control department, or whatever they are called, Health Institute, they decided to not go for a full lockdown in order to, I think, save mental health and the economy. So rather, instead of imposing strict laws, they imposed rules and advice. And so in effect, I think it has been quite similar, but there has been no draconian laws, that sort of no lockdown, no curfew. But working places have really been abandoned. Schools have been open. Universities and some other schools with older students have closed. They are opening this autumn. So I think but the Swedish approach was slightly different, and that has really pissed off politicians around the world, because it made it clear that you did not have to go one way. There were several ways. Whether it was a good way, I think it's too early to say. What is clear is that Sweden has had way higher mortality than the other Scandinavian countries, which are similar in many other ways. They have had way less infected and way less dead from COVID. On the other hand, it seems like Sweden right now is in a very comfortable spot where the worst seem to be through, at least for this wave. But if we were to do the count today, I think the Swedish approach has been bad, because a lot of people have died compared to other countries. But it seems like the healthcare sector has managed, and hence, so they've really flattened the curve also here. So I think it hasn't been so drastically different as it's been presented. But I cannot be... I think it's too early to say if it was a good strategy or if it was awful. Currently, if we were to measure, it's been tough, I think. But we'll see. But there's been outrage in Sweden also. People have been calling for much harsher restrictions, and other people have been more, okay, so if our experts say this, let's go with that and see. But it's been really up to every person to take their own responsibility. I, for instance, have been working from home since March, and I was told that I'm not expected back into the office until the end of December. if nothing changes radically. So we will have these rules in place for a long time. I feel a bit more lonely now since I'm not having the Facebook chat that I used to, but I need to try to explain why. And the thing is that I'm doing these talks, whatever, impromptu, unscripted, unthought through, and sometimes also technically unsuccessful, as you could see, because it crashed. But my ultimate goal with this is not only to pest you guys with my fucking opinions about everything, and I have those. Hey Jane, so you found your way to YouTube, good. But also I try to dig up music that I think is really good, underground, or at least, you know, obscure compared to unobscure music, and to push that to make more people discover it. And one way to make more people discover it is to go through something called cross-posting, which might work or might not work today now since it crashed for me, but we'll see that. But that means that there are partnering pages on Facebook that will sort of cross-post these streams as I go. And currently NETHERBIRD is doing that, because I'm streaming from the Nephente page. But also a website, or rather a metal fanzine called Metal Hanger 18 in Bulgaria, have graciously agreed to let me cross-post there. A Swedish website called swedishmetal.nu is also cross-posting. And I'm in talks with a few more. So my idea is not to build a huge following around my Facebook page or anything like that. So rather, I will do this broadcasts and put stuff up there. But I rather see that already established underground actors can cross-stream it if they want to. I of course ask for nothing more than the opportunity to push my streams. It's I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this despite the fact that it costs me money. But that is the underground metal for you. It's always costly, but it's also fun, at least for me. And it seems there are a few noses that found their way in here, so that's cool. Okay, you also found your way to YouTube. Welcome. And we'll see here. My idea also with switching platforms is not only to have a platform that crashes on me, but also to be able to scale up and do more stuff. I guess, and the first thing I have to do is to, get more hardware. It's always like you solve a problem and then you face 10 more problems. So it might be that I need to scale up hardware. So if you see me out looking for cans to pawn, that is what I'm doing. No, of course I will just take the huge payouts from the online services and buy whatever hardware, because they pay so well. Actually, they do pay. YouTube pays very little, but in my opinion, Spotify and iTunes and these actors actually do. They don't pay much, but they pay something. And for a small band like NETHERBIRD or RIKET, I would say actually that the payouts we receive from there are not insignificant. They make a difference for us, and they make a difference for our label. So, because I've seen a lot of posts around Daniel Ek, one of the founders, or the founder of Spotify, and people are, always angry. And the thing is that he is, of course, in it for money. And he has created a service which is, a commercial service, and he will never be broke. And he bought a really nice house that he tore down, or will tear down, to build an even nicer house. I don't know if it's working or not. It seems like it's streaming. Yeah, well, fuck it. I just go. It is what it is. But the thing is that these services, prior to Spotify, we got nothing from the online listeners and the online downloaders, and I have certainly downloaded albums. I don't think the biggest risk, and now I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit prior to what I will talk about next week, which is the new rules of the internet. I will talk to Sebastian from Necrophobic about that. But the bigger problem, as far as I see it, is that the stuff we love and the stuff we listen to might one day be removed from these services, and then we stand with a potentially much bigger problem, I think, than the payouts could be bigger. I wouldn't mind. But if they removed the music I'm listening to, due to popular opinions or shareholders or whatever, then it's a much bigger threat, I think, to the extreme metal underground. Because let's face it, the music we listen to, or I listen to and care deeply about, it's highly controversial, and that's like sort of the point. At least for a lot of acts, and we push the boundaries, which is, in my opinion, that's the rule with the rule of extreme metal, black metal especially, is to and art in general is to be up there, be a bit menacing, threatening, and sometimes outright provocative to various instances of power, and that is not a problem if you make CDs, because you will always find somebody who will print them and produce them for you, and you can sell them. But the problem is if we use Spotify and YouTube and Facebook and these international platforms, we must abide by their rules, and they change all the time. So stuff that is maybe today it's just controversial or provocative, 10 years from now opinions might have changed, and they might be even illegal in some places, and removed. And then we have a much bigger problem, because then we have potentially big voids in our cultural treasure. And that is something that scares me way more than meager payouts, I would say. Matulak, I bought all Nazghor albums, love them all. Good to hear that. I really also like Nazghor, and if technology sees it fit, we might also be able to get some words about what they are up to from the vocalist, who will join us pretty soon. But that is, if we are lucky enough to have the technology on our side. Now, I'll make it work eventually. At least I hope so. But so that being said, I am happy that we are having these platforms, because they allow every band to get their music up there, and even more importantly, it allows every fan in the world to actually somehow be able to find these more extreme forms of art, which were previously only possible to find if you had, if you knew someone who could tape something for you, and then later on you could get it on CD. But a CD in some countries is still a fucking expensive thing. And then I think these services allow for potentially more people to listen to the music. But it comes with a price. We have to abide by their rules. And if they say that, one day a certain subject is no longer okay, they will just remove it, and that'll be that. And we as consumers can only, we can stop paying the subscription fee. It won't bother them so much, I'm afraid. That I see as a potentially much bigger problem. But now it's out there, so hopefully one of you guys listening can just find an awesome solution to that. and skål, Fredrik, and thank you for last weekend. So that is what bothers me. Like I said, not the payouts so much for me, but the potential risk that one day stuff that I even write and play and record and put out there will be, not available in certain regions because, a certain politician has forced a certain actor to remove it or put some fucking restrictions on it. That I find potentially to be much more of a problem. But, and speaking of problems, those who saw me stream last week, you might have seen Dagar, the DG from Mistgöming, but before I had him on, I played a new necrophobic song, Mirror Black, which I really like, and I like the video and stuff. But when I was playing it, after like 3.5 minutes, Facebook killed the stream. And they didn't do it because somebody was listening and not liking necrophobic. Rather, the copyright protection bot found this stream and just cut it. And I could argue that I did it with fair use. I was promoting their music. But once again, it's not up to me. I'm not paying to distribute this stream on Facebook or anywhere else. So we'll have to just, stick with it or find something else that works. So in order not to be silenced by these things, I will now try something different, because I will still try to promote music that I think you guys should check out. But this time I will do it with 30-second snippets, which I hate, because I think 30 seconds is way too short. But I will see if that allows me to actually play music without fucking things up. But first, I will give you another tip. Like I said, this is really not working well. Lovely. Might need to restart this stuff again, which I really don't want to do. Yeah, but this is very professional on the other hand. I mean, you should always try stuff and see if you can get away with it. Sing it. Yeah, I should sing it. But what the fuck? I'm actually just trying to change a source. It's so professional. I can do that, but I can't get this stuff to work. But what if I do like that? Alright. I want you guys to pay close attention. This is Swedish metal, swedishmetal.nu, good friend of mine, and I try to keep, my ear sort of to the ground of what's happening in the extreme metal sphere. But I'm doing a lousy job compared to Frederick, who runs this site. And if you really want updated Spotify playlists, and I've been promising updated Spotify playlist forever, right? And I'm really not so good at making that happen. Then you should instead check out Frederick's site, because there you can find wonderful playlists, updated with hours and hours of obscure, nice black metal mainly. So that is a recommendation. You can thank me later, but check that out. So do that, and a shout out to Frederick, who's also in the chat, for a great work throughout the ages of promoting obscure Swedish music, and also thank you for letting me cross post on your page on Facebook. So check it out and support. Now I will try to just rather quickly give you guys some tips of music that I think you should check out. And the first one is Phaedra. I will play it if technology allows. First Mörkgryning album, and there are certainly worse things you can remind me about than that. So I have to say I'm really thrilled, and I will look more into it. But I discovered it very recently, and actually both Phaedra and Umföt are bands that Frederick from Swedish metal.nu has told me about. And so actually I am a complicated and a grumpy old man, but I do listen when people recommend me stuff. So, sorry. Check both of those out. And now I'll push something, as some of you might know. I also work for rather niched record label called Eisenwald, and Eisenwald is also the label where my main band is located, NETHERBIRD. So we are on Eisenwald, but I'm working for Eisenwald in the capacity of A&R, which is artist and repertoire. So I'm checking out new bands, new talents to see, and I mean to advise. It's not my decision which bands are ultimately released on the label, but I mean it's a team effort. But despite that fact, I would have recommended this band that you will hear anyway. It's Ocean Jupiter. And it's quite different from the other stuff you heard, but I really urge you to check it out, and I will try also to bring someone from the band on here, because I think it's really interesting stuff. So check it out.
Finding fables among these treacherous roads, among these giants, these woods call to my soul.
Very different, yet to me also very profound stuff. And I would really also urge you to check them out if you're into maybe a bit more neo-folk, a bit more, well, basically more acoustically oriented music, which I am heavily. So these days I tend to beat among those domains of the underground even more frequently, actually. And this is a new EP that is out, and check it out. And I mean, these days you don't have to buy anything. You can just listen and make up your own mind. But if you like a band, no matter which of these three or whatever, make sure to buy stuff if you want bands to thrive. I can tell you honestly that most bands, including mine, we notice when people buy t-shirts or CDs or whatever. Even if you just buy one, we will actually know about it, and we will actually like, we can buy another beer, because beer is good. And I think I will also not just do black metal here. I will try to put other stuff up there. And I mean, it's not hard to find these bands that, you know, bridge the chasm between the more rough extreme and the more subtle, soft, serene music. I mean, Agaloch, I think, is a perfect example of that, which has like both of these components, but put together it becomes something quite magical. And I will also see here, you can see that there is an email address, nephente@netherbird.com, and for the next show I will talk also about cover music. And I want you to email me, even if you see this live or afterwards, send me a link to the best cover of a band, the best cover tune that you have heard. Because I will talk about covers. 3 of those who send in will receive a free lyric book, because I I can't give you gold, but I can give you stuff that I've released. So the first 3 to send me a suggestion on my email where you say, I really love Johnny Cash's Hurt. That's the best cover that he did of or whatever. Hey, Daphne and Harold. Great to see you guys online. I'm having a technical difficulty evening here, but that's just how we roll. And that is also why I think it's pretty fun to do these live streams, because I am by no means a trained professional, whatever. But I love to tinker around with the technology stuff and gradually, at least, make the stuff work better and better. At least that's, the idea that I have. Who will join? I think it's 2 years from now, I have the privilege of joining Nazghor live, as Nazghor were playing support to Batushka in too much problems. For fuck's sake. Yep. That's is an obvious problem with my hardware, or the lack thereof. I need to invest in more hardware, and I will, trust me, because I am a geek when it comes to these things. But I actually don't think we need to blame the record label for that one. I think it's hardware on my side of things. And it should be an exciting and somewhat frustrating experience to deal with extreme metal. And tonight it is without a doubt a bit frustrating for me. But since I am so extremely professional, I will make sure not to let you know just how frustrated I am. I'm not alone when I do these things. Yeah. And now the stream is also complaining. Lovely. Let me see what I can do here. I see at least that some of you guys have returned, so that is nice. I'm trying to build a scene here so that we can actually see each other. And eventually we will, I'm sure. There are, of course, worse situations one can be in. Not sure which one actually, but I'm sure there are a few. At least, I mean, this will make my guest feel extremely happy. I hope it works now. And here we go. Hey, man.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. The problem I'm having is that my streaming software and my computer, it seems like I'm trying to choke out a little bit too much things at the same time from what is a 2-year-old MacBook Pro, which I will exchange for something else very quickly, but can't do it right now, so we work with what we got. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, man, surviving.
Yeah.
Fighting against everything Corona throws at me.
Yeah. How has it been? How has it been for you? Has it been personally tough, or?
Well, personally, no, not really, because either I or someone from my family has been affected,
Mm.
nor friends, nothing. So no, not that much. No.
Have you been able to work as normal? Have you been working from home, or how has that been practically?
Well, from the beginning, in the beginning, it's like when it got like this big quarantine, like in I think it was in April
Yeah.
something when it got. I was working from home for like a couple of weeks,
Mm.
but then I was able to come back to work and work as normally. So that's a real big problem for me now.
Um, Welcome to this. As always, a bit when I'm trying stuff, a bit technically frustrating, but still very passionate about underground metal music broadcast. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Yeah.
Who are you?
Well, yeah, I'm a metal guy. I'm sure you meet a lot of metal guys like me. Sometimes I forget how old I am, but when I think, when I really, really concentrate and think, I think I'm like 37. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Try to do as much music I can, especially now during this pandemic period. And otherwise, working, taking care of my family, my wife, my kids, like a normal, Swede.
Yeah. I mean, we're all normally Sweding through this. I mean, I'm even older than you are, and I mean, I also tend to forget because I always feel like 17 something because that's I have still the same passion and still the same drive for this weird little scene that I did then. But you are, if we start with your, I mean, the most well-known band you're in is Nazghor, obviously, which it took me some time before I found you guys, but then I just realized how fucking productive we are. Can you tell us a little bit about Nazghor to start with? I mean, the history. You put out 6 albums, right?
Yeah, 6 albums in, I think it was 5 years, I think. Yeah, five
Yeah.
years, 6 albums. Yeah, very productive. Me and our main guitarist, Armageddon, we had this as one of our pillars for the band. Our biggest pillars is like we are going to produce a lot of music and not wasting time. If we had some songs that did not make it on the actual record, then we could use this to the second or third or fifth or whatever. And every time we release an album, we were like hungry for more. We did not like lay back and see the results, rather than we just started working on new stuff. And it's both good and bad. But,
I guess, but I mean, especially these days, being productive makes a huge difference. Because, this is one of the things that the Spotify owner, founder, also said. Yeah, bands need to produce stuff. You can't wait to every third or fourth year because in their world, stuff needs to be recent. But you guys, I mean, you've been raking out albums and good albums. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is a little tribute to you guys on the latest NETHERBIRD album. A little lyrical tribute that I did. Actually, to the song that we heard, Black Forms, Black Skies. I just had to put it in there because me and Bismarck, the composer of
Yeah.
NETHERBIRD, we are both. I mean, we're really into the stuff that you guys make because there's a tone in it which is like you have this semi-off, really special, authentic tone. So I mean, yeah. So if you didn't notice, I'll send you the album. You can at least, yeah. So, and I'm not the only one, because I mean, I see in groups and stuff that people are quite enthusiastic about the stuff you released, but it always takes longer than you think before people catch on.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm honored to hear what you're saying with this, you mentioned with the songs, and I've heard the album. I love the album. It's my personal favorite Nether album, actually.
Thank you.
But I don't know which song you're talking about, so please feel free to, to send me the specific song. And
yeah, I think it's in Mercury Skies. Actually, I think so. Because we just want. Sometimes we do that. I put stuff in there because I really like to pay homage to, in subtle ways, the metal underground. Because we're all parts of the same clique of musicians. We're 95% metal fans and 5% musicians. At least that's how I view myself. But you guys, now it's been a bit of a longer wait. What is happening with Nazghor right now?
well, right now we're concentrating on make a new live stream happen, and I think we are going to do one in the middle of September.
Yep.
Because we everyone in Nazghor has like side projects this moment. Everyone is focused on other stuff, but now we're talking about gathering together again and beginning to talk about the next record and stuff like that. So I think in the near future we will like make an announcement or something, or yeah.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to it, and I also know that you guys are pretty, innovative and ready to try new stuff. I have to say, it was really nice sharing the stage with you guys on the Batushka gig in Stockholm. That's one of those gigs where Batushka were at the very peak, and it's a pretty nice venue actually. So that was a pleasant evening. But you guys do quite a lot of live shows, but you don't tour so much, right?
No, I think we have only toured once, if I remember right. And well, that is because the family issues, and there's a lot of stuff you have to organize to be able to travel abroad and make shows. It's not like let's go into the van and travel to like Poland or the Czech Republic. You have work and you have families and you have other stuff you have to organize first.
Yep.
And then we have done mere festivals, different countries, but not touring, just once, I think. Yeah.
The road is long and life is long, so you'll have time to do that. And I think what not most people know is that for bands on a smaller scale, doing a tour is a cost. It's a very costly venture, and so that is money that you're not putting in your family. You're putting it in your your weird hobby, which is in this case extreme metal. So I think we all would love to tour way more, but it's a cost. So it's always a balance there. But you do more stuff than Nazghor, and actually you have a quite busy year with releases. Can you tell me about the other two bands you're in?
Well, first of all, we released our debut album with my thrash metal band Morphetic. We released it we think it was the 10th of July, and we worked with that record for like a couple of months, like 5-6 months, and we started Morphetic. I think it was like in the end of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the band is like 75% Nazghor because the drummer and the guitarist and myself are Nazghor, and the fourth guy is an external guy.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that happens.
Yeah,
I know.
So Morphetic is like this light party-ish Nazghor side project, but it's turned out very well.
How has the response been so far for the album?
Very good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Better than I could imagine. We have people from many countries over the world writing to us and telling us that we have done a great debut album and stuff, and they want more.
Mm-hmm.
We have people asking already, when is the second album coming out? And it's like, yeah, we do not shit music, man.
Yeah, we wish.
We wish.
Yeah, but I mean, I have the exactly same situation with RIKET, which is now 60% NETHERBIRD members. That's my little side project that we do for fun. And sometimes it's so easy when you do the side project because all pressure is off and you can basically just do whatever you feel like. Because no matter, I don't know with Nazghor, but with NETHERBIRD we still feel pressure now when we make an album because we have some legacy and we want it to be, I don't know, a worthy successor. So we can't just go apeshit and do something spontaneously different. I have to admit that fact. But I also see from the chat, I am watching the chat, guys, and I think you can see the chat too. There are people there writing, which is nice. So there is a following to the stuff you do, and I also see that the record label Non-Servian Records is in the chat too. So yeah, it's a small world. It's great to see you guys, and keep the love going. But you're also in a third band. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I have a band, or should I say, I'm now a member of the trinity of extreme metal, doing, thrash metal, black metal, and now I'm doing death metal.
Of course you are.
Yeah, and death metal is something I wanted to do for a very long time, but it was not a priority since I had Nazghor, which is a very productive band. But now with this pandemic times, you have more time to realize this kind of stuff. So I talked to my friend Osgiliath of the band Mist of Misery and Said.
Yep.
Actually, we have talked about this several times. But when you meet somebody and you drink some beer, you're like, "Hey, we're starting a band." Yeah, we're starting a band.
Of course, happens every weekend.
Yeah, and then the second day you're thinking like, yeah, was it serious or was the beer talking, you know?
Mm.
But now it was actually during the beginning of the Corona time. I contacted him and said, you know, now is the time to really make it happen. And he was like, yeah, of course. So we contact Staffan. He's an ex-member of the band Smother. I don't know
Mm.
if you know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Great death metal band.
Yeah. Extremely, quite brutal shit actually.
Yeah. Very good band. And then it took its inception. You know, the whole project was like so fast that I even noticed when we when we produced the songs, and now it's here, and yeah, it's a great project. You should check it out. The band is called Sangreal.
Sangreal. Yep.
Sangreal, and we actually released a 2 songs demo 2 days ago. Check it out. Maybe you can link.
Yeah, I'll put it in the event so
Yeah.
everybody can find it.
Yeah, so you
Certainly.
guys let me know what you think. Actually, we have 7 songs completed for the debut album. So yeah, sometime in the future we will release our debut album, and I hope you like it. Yeah.
It's cool. And I mean, this is also, I mean, for me, it comes so natural with, you know, if you're into death metal, you can be into black metal and you can be into thrash metal. I mean, the difference is not so huge. I know that for some fans, the difference is really vast. I never really got it. I mean, as a musician, I just grow when I do shit outside my comfort zone a little bit. So I think this might actually also contribute to Nazghor, the fact that you are doing other things, and I mean, you evolve as a musician. But how do you perceive the scene today in Sweden? Is it a collaboration, or is it a lot of competition, or how does it feel for you guys?
I don't know if competition is the right word, because as you know, Johan, we live in Sweden,
Yep.
and you know, Sweden has like 5 bands starting per day.
Yep.
So we, if we're not used to it, then I don't know what we're doing, man. Yeah, but no, actually, I don't feel that we have a competition in that way you're talking about. Rather, like a big community. You
Yeah.
know, I know there's some people that see this kind of stuff as a competition. You know, my band should be the one playing there, and my band should be, you know. But I, like I said, I rather see this like this big community helping each other. Like you helped me a lot of times. You won.
Oh well, if I
I
can, I
have
do.
much to thank you for your help and
No
support.
worries.
And you know, Nazghor is a very melodic band, and I think if I if I see what kind of bands there's out there, there are many brutal bands, you know, trying to do. I don't like the word copying, because uh, you know, you're not copying something else or someone else for doing the same genre. So
No.
I never say that word. But you know, there are a lot of people doing similar things, so like band as Marduk, you know, brutal, fast, and Nazghor is not one of those. We rather focus on melodies, you know, and I think in the underground scene, there's no there's few bands doing this kind of stuff, so I'm not seeing this as a competition.
Yeah, and I agree because at least I mean, if you look on Sweden, we have the world as our audience. This is, I mean, so if Nazghor is, you know, if you guys make a good gig, that's never gonna hurt my band. I try to be as nice and supportive as I can, and in 95% of the cases, people are taking that the right way. Sometimes people can see, you know, kindness as weakness, and then I'm not so fucking delighted anymore. Because I can be a bitter bitch too, but I try not to. But the scene, from my perspective, it's mostly people are really supportive and helping each other to grow. And realizing that we are not fighting, it's not, you know, oh, there is only 5 bands who can, you know, have a successful release this year. That's not how it works. I mean, the better you guys are doing, the better it is for me, because you guys actually also push my music and vice versa. So co-opetition, I think, we compete, but mainly in the way that I want to be, you know, as good as I can be, and when you guys put out an album that is really good, that inspires me to do good. This is how I see it. There are some exceptions to that rule, but I am not one pointing fingers here, because I don't think it helps. It's very helpful, but I think it's important that we as a community always try to push each other best we can. And this is why, I mean, I do this sort of online thing is, it's not only to fuck up technology and spend money buying fucking software that doesn't work, and soon a fucking computer that I'm sure will not work either. I actually checked up, and the fastest Apple machine you can buy is 38,000 euros. So I guess if I had that one, it should work. But for now, yeah. So I'm totally with you there, and I also think that what we do, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. If you can make one good album, fine. But if you can make 6 good albums, then we're starting to talk. Because, I mean, you need to be persistent. And it takes time for people to pick up the stuff and to realize who you are. And I mean, what is your signature? But if you look on the... let's see. Death's Withering Chant is my favorite black metal album since the Zombieland. Dissection is my favorite black metal band. Nazghor is a close second. Well, good on you guys. The song Death's Withered Chant is one of my favorite songs by you guys. It's an amazing composition. Amazing. If you listening to this and you haven't heard that song, check it out afterwards. It will blow your mind. Fucking awesome stuff. Really, really eerie and good.
Thank you. I am honored to hear that, and very big words, both from you and from my fellow man here, Matulak. Cheers, man. I have one skull for you.
And I broke my skull, so, but in any case, a virtual skull. And but I also think the fact that we do this, we have these conversations about not so much, but I mean our passion for this music. And I mean, I've known you for a few years, and it's always a pleasure dealing with you, and it's always a pleasure also to see how creative you are and how much energy you put into the stuff. It's fantastic, actually. But what is happening now? If you look like short term, you have maybe a live stream coming up. After that, what do you see happening?
Well, we actually have situation. We have a show in Switzerland, the 25th of September.
Yep.
Right now, we're talking about either perform or not. Every country has their rules and stuff, and we haven't heard anything regarding the rules in Switzerland from the organizers. So at this point, I don't know if Nazghor is going to travel to make this happen in Switzerland. We will see in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But this stream, we're working really hard to make this happen, and we actually have a date now. I will not reveal it right now, but it's in the middle of September.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think we're going to make it happen, because we owe it to our fans and people who want to enjoy music live. I say live stream. Well, we're focusing very much on this stream. And after that, we're going to talk about the next record, our seventh Nazghor record. We're going to make plans on, how should we do this, because this is actually the first time we're going to release an album recorded in a professional studio. All our albums are recorded and mixed by us, by the band, because from the beginning we wanted to be this really underground band. We wanted the sound to sound like Dark Throne's earlier records and stuff. But then, many bands today, they follow the stream and want to make better records with better quality and stuff. So we did, but we have not recorded an album in a professional studio yet. And for this seventh album, we're going to do just that. So we don't know which one or how or when, but it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yep.
And with my thrash metal band Morphetic, we just got this album out for a digital version. And in September, Hidden Tribes Records is going to release it as a physical Digipack CD. But we also have like 6-7 songs, I think, already for the next album, and we want to release it next year. And the same goes for my death metal band Sangreal. We also have almost all the songs for the debut album. I think we're going to try to beginning with the recordings during earlier this winter, something. So next year maybe I will put out like 2 albums or 3. You will see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and taking the step to do an recording, a full recording in a studio, it is an expensive, but also sometimes it's the natural next step, because a producer can make a difference. It is really so. And I'm speaking from my own experience also, because NETHERBIRD, we just like you guys, we did everything ourselves, and in the end, it's hard to find new angles to your music that way. So sometimes, taking that cost and going into a studio will reveal stuff that you didn't know about your own music. So it's exciting to hear. And I'm of course curious which studio you will go to, but that's I will know one day, I guess.
Yeah, you do. We feel that that is the natural step for a band like Nazghor. We're not so we're still an underground band, but not so underground anymore. I don't know if there is a word for it. So we feel like this this is the 7th album. We should we should record it in a professional studio and try to make something of it.
And like I said, it can also be a discovery a little bit for you guys. Just the pressure of being working with someone outside the band can also sometimes it's tough, but it can also give some extra drive to it. There is more. The first 5 albums had near perfect production. When asked on the forum, I asked for true cult band that wasn't Darkthrone knockoff, and the guy showed me Diabolical Teachings, and I was hooked. So yeah, but I would say it's not such a big risk that you guys will lose your signature sound, because you sound the way you sound. I think now there is this, I can hear when it's you guys playing, and I don't think any producer will be able to wash it away, but yeah, we'll see what happens, right?
Well, there's something actually I'm a little afraid of. I don't want to lose our, sound. We are a very melodic band, and well, working with a professional studio has ways to change underground bands' sound extremely or slightly better. I hope it's for the second one, just slightly better, but not change it extremely much.
Yeah.
We will see. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a question of finding the right studio also, and I mean, best case scenario is that you keep what's originally in Nazghor and add something that you guys haven't been able to push out yourself. And from my experience, it will sound like, I mean, if I look on the NETHERBIRD releases, the last album we took in a expensive external producer, but he only made it sound more like us. He couldn't change it. He tried. He really did try on some songs, like, yeah, maybe more of this. No, maybe not. Maybe exactly like it is. And so we are like impossible to deal with in that sense. But he did make us sound bigger, I think. He found things in our mix that we haven't been able to do ourselves, and so in that sense, I'm pretty sure it will be something you will be happy about. But otherwise, the 8th album will be done in your basement. I mean, this is there is always the next album.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be so afraid to try stuff. I mean, I think it's great news that you guys are. Starting to discuss this. And if people are wondering why I'm smoking, it's because I read the YouTube terms and conditions is that you may not drink alcohol or smoke in your streams if you want to be sponsored. So I'm just trying to make damn sure I'm not sponsored by anyone. So I do this for you. And also it saves me from Corona, according to one very biased French article. But in any case, sir, thank you for taking time to join me. I urge anyone here to check out the Facebook event. I will post links to all 3 bands. So make sure to check that out. Support Nazghor, and make sure to keep me in the loop on what's happening, and when and also when the live stream is coming up, so I can push it a little bit.
Yes, of course. And if you play at Nalen again,
yeah,
you'll be on stage with us, my friend.
Yeah, I really look forward to it. It was a great pleasure. You saw, it was so extreme that even my software fucked up when I tried to play it. I mean, it was that good.
Yeah, it was very good. You know,
well, actually,
it's actually a pleasure to have played there, because you know, Johan, that scene is the whole building is how do you say in English, enrichment, you know, enrique.
Yeah, like it has a huge legacy.
It's an old building, and it has his legacy. So it's a privilege to have played there.
Yeah, it was a really great evening actually. All in all, it was really cool. There was 4 good bands on stage that night. It was a really cool evening, and I mean the place was sold out with black metal. I mean, for fuck's sake, in the center of Stockholm. Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, it was.
But there will be more good things ahead of you guys. I'm sure of it. Just keep the positive attitude and keep being productive and keep being you. That's all I can say. I will also post that live link to anybody who wants to indulge. But thanks for joining me, sir, and I'll talk to you soon again, and hopefully over a beer sometime in a not too distant future.
Yeah, you're welcome to come to Uppsala someday and have a beer with me, man.
Oh, I might take you up on that. I would actually really like that.
Okay.
But I'll see you soon when we're through this fucking ordeal.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Cheers.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, actually, that part of the stream did not fuck up, so I'm learning stuff here. But like I said, make sure to support the true underground and the nice people in it. And there are 6 albums there to discover, and even more, offsprings of this man's creativity, and that is cool. And as always, you also realize that I work hard to make these streams less and less bad. But I have to say, the 600 euros I paid for this fucking streaming software, I don't feel value for money right now, but I will figure it out as we go along. So I thank you guys for your patience. If you want to support, me and the stuff I do, there's only, one thing that you should do, and it's to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Nephente Talks. I will keep doing this every Monday until you guys are fed up with me. And thank you for tuning in to my rants, and especially to check out the guests I'm bringing along, because there's, I've said that so many times before, but there's so much talent and there's so much passion there, and there is so much to be discovered even within only the Swedish underground, and I will expand my scope as we go along to other scenes as well. But the best way for me to learn about new stuff is if you guys mail me, nephente@netherbird.com. Mail me your suggestions. First off, like I said, if you have any cover tunes that you think are amazing, let me know. Also, if there are any bands or, whatever that you can tip me about, let me know, and I will look into it if I understand it and like it. And I'm a picky old man, but still, I will also try to bring on guests from various countries to make sure that this is also something that is being reflecting the underground, because it's the underground. I care deeply for the Swedish underground, but not exclusively, because it's the same actually. I don't see such a huge difference if it's the Bulgarian underground. And speaking about Bulgaria, shoutouts to Metal Hangar 18 for being the first outside Sweden to let me cross-post this stream. Sadly, it will be divided into several chunks, but I will do an edited version, which is one file, and put it up on YouTube so you guys can watch it afterwards. Thank you for patience. Thank you for writing stuff in the chat, and thank you for supporting the Metal Underground. It really makes a difference. And I will see you on Monday, and for another conversation. That time it will be more centered around what I was talking about before. That is, what happens when underground music enters the mainstream arenas of festivals and the mainstream platforms of Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and so on. What's the benefits and what are the risks with that? And I will delve into that, and I will do so also with my guest. And I hope to see you guys then again. Until then, wash your fucking hands, keep your fucking distance to each other, and stay fucking healthy. And let me know if you have any questions, or if you want me to ponder on something else. The address is in the feed. You can Twitter me, email, or smoke signal me. I'll do my best to read it, and if I am able, I will also do my best to respond somehow. So take care, and see you guys soon again.